NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte is supporting President Trump's military campaign against Iran. U.S. Ambassador to NATO Matthew Whitaker joins me now. Mr. Ambassador, which NATO members are backing Trump's operations against Iran? Any of them at all? Any offering full support?
Hi, Stuart. It's good to be with you. First, we have NATO allies that were inconsistent, both in their allowance for access basing and overflight of American missions, and at the same time not offering political support. In fact, oftentimes saying things inconsistent. But that's behind us now, because the bottom line is that the United States of America flew almost 5,000 air missions in support of Epic Fury, and our allies, some of them did more than we could have ever asked. And I know that when Secretary General Rutte and I were in the White House with the president last week, President Trump obviously is expecting more from our allies. That's what I'm working on every day here at NATO to get, is a bigger contribution both to our collective defense, but also to make sure that when we want to use our bases here in Europe to project power, that we can use those. And so that's the conversation that we're having. It's constructive, and as we head into the summit in Ankara next week, I think these are conversations that the leaders are going to have, including President Trump.
We hear that NATO leaders are concerned that they won't be able to count on the U.S. for help if they're attacked by Russia. Any truth to this?
Of course, we believe in Article 5 of the Washington Treaty, but we also believe in Article 3 of the Washington Treaty, which says that every ally should invest in their own defense and the collective defense. And for too long, the peace dividend was illusory here in Europe, and we had defense of Europe hollowed out by our allies. And so we need stronger allies. That makes a stronger NATO. And President Trump got the 5% last year in the Hague Defense Commitment, which powers us forward. And allies have spent $120 billion in the last year. They're buying from American industry. About 50% or more is bought from U.S. companies, whether that's F-35s, Patriot missiles, AMRAAM, all the defense armaments that are necessary to fight a modern war. And so, the United States will be here, but we also need our allies to be here. We cannot do it alone, and the American taxpayer should no longer bear the burden of the conventional defense of the European continent.
Would you say that they're moving in the right direction, but they're not moving halfway fast enough?
Well, it's a very asymmetrical. If you look at Germany, for example, they're going to get to the 5% by 2029, which will take them a total of 4 years, which is very quick from where they started. We have other allies that are already at 5%. Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. The Nordic countries are very strong. And so we have a lot of allies that are doing everything we expect them to do, but we do have some allies that are not doing enough. And I would point to Spain, I would point to Italy, and several others that are just not on the trajectory to grow their spending fast enough to address the current threats, Stuart. I mean, this is obviously a very dangerous world right now we live in, and we need allies that are strong.
Ambassador Whitaker, thanks very much for being with us today. Always appreciate it.